Welcome back, curious hearts and devoted romantics, to the space on the internet where we don't just skim the rumors, we peel back the layers and read the pulse beneath the spotlight. You've tuned in to Turkish series Stars, a refuge for those who crave the story behind the sheen. Today, we're unpacking a tale that has kept European tabloids on high alert, a love that faded, a timeline that fractured quietly, and a man who seems to be glowing brighter than ever. We're talking about the abrupt, wordless, and unmistakably modern unraveling between the Turkish leading man, Gökberk Yıldırım, and the elusive DJ, Cemre Arda. But this isn't a funeral dirge. It feels like a sunrise. If you've ever wondered why a single unfollow can say more than 1,000 captions, and what the face looks like when a heart finally exhales, you're in the right place. Before we dive into the psychological undercurrents of this chapter, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish series Stars. If you want to champion thoughtful, independent deep dives into celebrity lives without the noise, the join button is your backstage pass. Your likes are the cheers we thrive on, and your comments turn this broadcast into a conversation. Now, take a walk with us through the sun-baked avenues of Spain as we trace the spark that returned to Gökberk's eyes. Fame dazzles, but it's a trick of the light. It can dog color where the canvas is gray. For months, admirers of Gökberk Yıldırım, the man whose charisma has leapt from Istanbul to Madrid, believed they were witnessing steadiness. With Cemre Arda at his side, the story appeared calm, measured, almost serene. We all scrolled through the snapshots. Sea blue holidays where the water matched their smiles, appearances at events where they stood shoulder to shoulder, bodies angled just so under a barrage of flashes, and an aura of synchronized rhythm that the European press eagerly consumed. But as we often remind you here at Turkish series Stars, social media is a gallery of framed moments, not a confessional. The happy tableau shifted in an instant, as if the velvet curtain of a theater were yanked open to reveal an empty stage. The serenity was performance. When the truth showed up, it didn't scream. It whispered through an action that in our era has become definitive, the mutual vanishing act of the follow button. Modern romance has invented its own syntax, and its most cutting sentence is the unfollow. One ordinary morning, with no joint statement, no cryptic caption, and no staged sadness, Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda let their digital thread snap. They stopped following each other. In the tightrope world of high-visibility love, where every move is screenshot and speculation, this is rarely a misclick. It's signaling. It's the moment someone decides that the world doesn't need to be invited to the expiration. What makes this particular unfollow such a puzzle is what they didn't do. The past remains. Their photos are still sitting there, small altars to a time that's now ended. Commentators and armchair analysts have split into two schools of thought. One belief is that this is all heartbreakingly recent, the emotions too tender for a clean purge. The other reads it as a curated, almost corporate strategy. The story isn't deleted, it's being archived. Some have floated the phrase social detox to ease the external pressure, but the simplest reading is that the silence is loud. When nothing is said, everything is implied. Usually, after a headline-making split, we expect a dip. Hoodies pulled up, eyes hidden behind oversized glasses, the body language of low battery mode. But that's not the script Gökberk is following. The earthquake here isn't the breakup, it's the unmistakable electricity surging back into his presence. The shift is visible. The slack has left his shoulders. The dimness that some followers had quietly noticed over recent months seems to have been swapped out for bright, determined light. The grin feels unguarded again. The way he moves in front of a camera carries an ease we haven't seen in a while. There's a phrase floating through comment sections, this is post-storm sunshine. It begs the disquieting question, was the relationship, seemingly harmonious, actually a softly shut door? And has he finally stepped into fresh air? While Gökberk is radiating warmth, Cemre has retreated into a surface of steel. Her response to the split has been textbook control. No bitter playlist cues, no pointed quotes, no stunts meant to set the internet ablaze. What we see instead is a fortress of professionalism. Known across Spain and Portugal's night scenes for sets that can shake a dance floor into unity, she has narrowed her output to work, work, work. Yet beneath the polished posts, followers sense a frost. Some call it a power stance, I'm good, don't come close. Others think it's armor plating over something more turbulent. One comment captured the mood. She smiles, but it's like someone closed a window. Is this discipline the mark of a woman moving forward, or a shield against showing a bruise to millions? Another narrative whispered by those orbiting her suggests she hasn't completely conceded that this chapter is closed, which might explain the untouched photos. She is indeed moving, but she is traveling solo, and that alone together contrast with Gökberk's new heat defines the current tableau. So why did it collapse? In the vacuum of an official quote, theories rush in. For have crystallized, each one plausible enough to piece together a broken picture. First, the tempo clash. Gökberk is a man in motion, ricocheting between sets, brand shoots, and prep for roles that demand physical and mental discipline. Cemre is on rotation through clubs and festivals, life counted in flights and sound checks. Two metronomes ticking at different speeds make for a dance that's hard to sustain. Second, the subtle creep of envy. Jealousy tends to start as a murmur and end as a siren. Some insist that late in the relationship, the social orbits around each of them began to rub raw. Was it the throng around a star at public events, the endless selfies, the messages that never stop? Or the after-hours world of a DJ where the night rarely sleeps? The fabric of trust can fray without a single dramatic thread being pulled. Third, the pressure of constant exposure. To love someone with a lens pointed at them is to live with the lens, too. Privacy didn't just shrink, it evaporated. When every smile can be dissected and every silence turned into a headline, intimacy has nowhere to breathe. And lastly, the simplest polarity, morning versus midnight. Gökberk trains early, eats clean, rebuilds, repeats. Cemre thrives where the base peaks and the lights spin. Opposites draw each other in the beginning, but over time, the friction between sunrise routines and twilight chaos can warm a room or burn it down. No villains, no saints. Just incompatible gears in a machine that once hummed. I want to hand the mic to you now, the Turkish series stars family. We've all seen the images. Do you buy the liberation reading? Does Gökberk look like a man crushed, or like someone who discovered that relief can be a revelation? And how do you interpret Cemre's hush? Is it resilience or restraint? This community shines when you dissect the psychology beneath the gloss, so pour your thoughts into the comments. You're part of the story we're telling. Let's not overlook the stage for this renewal, Spain. Instead of retreating to the familiar comfort of home bases, Gökberk is flourishing in Madrid. The setting matters. Spain has its own current. Warm, expressive, still lively, but maybe a touch less smothering than the Italian frenzy that once trailed his every move. Reports whisper about new meetings, project talks, special invitations. The clips he's posted, long walks under a sky as blue as tile, sweat-soaked sessions, iron clanging, focus sharpened to a point, suggest a man converting emotion into momentum. Fans have named the phenomenon with a smirk, breakup confidence. It's the energy of someone who didn't know how tightly he was wound until the knot came loose. The comments are telling, this glow isn't heartbreak, it's breathing room. He has never looked more present. And through it all, he hasn't taken a swing at Cemre. No digs, no blame, just a respectful quiet that makes his reset look even more adult. So, what's next? The tabloids are circling the predictable bait, is there a new flame? It feels premature. The vibe he's putting out is of a man who's enjoying his own company for the first time in a long while, someone who didn't see the lightness coming but is welcoming it with both hands. Of course, nature dislikes emptiness. A figure like Gökberk won't stay a solo act forever. One romance seems to have reached its final page. The chapter on Cemre appears closed. But the story of Gökberk is only turning, not ending. The brightness in his face reads like a preface to a bigger arc. Sometimes love arrives to teach, sometimes to test. Sometimes it's the mirror you need before you can meet your own gaze without flinching. From where we sit, it looks like he has located himself again under the Spanish sun. The narrative isn't over. In fact, the most magnetic parts are probably being drafted right now, in quiet meetings, in late-night script reads, in early morning workouts that feel like prayer. We'll keep watching his Iberian chapter, and we'll keep an eye on Cemre's next moves, whether she doubles down on the music, shifts into production, or redirects her energy somewhere unexpected. That's what you come to Turkish series stars for, not just the who and the what, but the why and the how, examined with care. If this deep dive into the anatomy of a high-profile uncoupling resonated with you, tap like. It helps us keep bringing you stories with soul. Don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series stars and hit the bell so you don't miss the next twist. And for those who want to step inside the circle, the join button is waiting. Thank you for spending your time with us. Remember this, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is let go and find out who you are when no one's pulling on you. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep your eyes on the light.